Okay, awesome. Good morning, guys. So my name is Allie. I am a physical therapist and certified Pilates instructor based out of Boston. Today, we're going to be running through a class about back pain. So the class will be mostly movement-based. We'll be doing some stretching, some strengthening. I'll be giving you a couple little tips and tricks, and we'll spend some time at the end going over a couple of ergonomic recommendations for your work from home setup. And we'll leave some time for Q&A. So if you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will preface this by saying that everything we do today should feel good for your body, and everyone's bodies are different. So I'll be offering a number of modifications. Please don't hesitate to take them. Nothing we do should hurt your back. So just take it easy, listen to your body. I mentioned to those of you who are already on, I'd like to see your screen so that I can make little corrections for form and everything. So angle your camera so that I can see you. And we're gonna start lying down on your back. If you have a small pillow or a little towel or something nearby, you can grab that and bring it with you. We may use it for certain modifications throughout the class, but it's not necessary. So just find a comfortable spot to lay down. If right off the bat that doesn't feel good for your back to lay totally flat, you can always bend your knees, have your feet down on the mat. You can even put a little pillow underneath your lower back, but find a position where you're comfortable. And that looks very good. So far, I can see everyone A+ on your video skills here. Wonderful. Okay, so once you guys have found a comfortable position down on your mat, you can keep your eyes open or closed, but we're just gonna start to take a moment to connect back with your body. So we'll do a little body scan here, noticing how you feel from the very top of your head all the way down into your toes. And what you're thinking about is maybe any differences you feel from side to side, any spots of tension. And there's no right or wrong. We're just noticing your body at this moment in time. And as you notice those little differences from side to side, can you start to tune your attention into your breath? And just notice your breath. Maybe visualize where your breath is going. Our breath can actually move.
I've lost audio and I'm trying to figure out how to get it back.
Hi, Julian. Yeah.
I can't hear you at all.
Okay. So I'm going to continue through class, and we'll see maybe if Chastity can troubleshoot with you over chat. So for those of you paying attention to your breath here, we're going to go ahead and imagine where it's going. And our breath can move in 3 dimensions. It can move up high in our shoulders. It can move down low in our belly. It can also move wide out to the side in our rib cage. And so picture where your breath is going. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of times when we sit with sort of this slumpy forward posture, it causes a lot of the breath to go up into our shoulders. And that mechanism of breathing is really designed for situations when we're exerting ourselves heavily. It can also start to put some extra stress on our neck and our upper back. So if you're noticing that you have a lot of breath patterns up high in the shoulders, focus on bringing that breath down lower into your belly. From here, we're gonna add a gentle bit of movement. So I'm gonna move onto my mat so you guys can see. If your legs are flat out and extended, go ahead and bend one knee at a time, placing your feet down flat onto the mat. From here, we're gonna start to move your pelvis front to back. So we're gently rocking your pelvis, nice and slow with control here. And you're imagining that you are closing the space under your low back and then increasing the space. So if there was a tiny little jelly bean hiding under your low back, maybe you're gently pressing it down and then opening up space to create room for that little jelly bean. This range of motion might be really, really small to start, and that's okay. Hopefully each repetition as you move through this gets a little bit bigger. And you're just keeping this comfortable within your pain-free zone, just noticing your own spine. So we'll do 2 more times here. And last time, settle somewhere right in the middle. Allow your arms to come down by your side. Gently let your shoulders melt onto the mat and bring your knees and feet together. From here, we're going to introduce some rotation. So you're gently going to rock your legs from side to side. And just allow your spine to go as far as it can without any sensitivity or pain. It's okay for your hips to lift off the mat, but I want you to focus on trying to keep your shoulder blades down onto the mat. And that's to allow the stretch to access your lower back. We will stretch the upper back a little bit later on in class today. So we'll do 2 more like this. And then last time here, and settle somewhere right in the middle. From here, separate your feet about hip distance apart and keep your feet flat down on the mat. We're going to go into our first strengthening exercise. So today we'll do some stretching, some strengthening. And strengthening is just as important to help support our spine through the activities we do throughout the day. So we're going to be working our glutes or our butt muscles. They play a big role in supporting our back. So arms are pressing down. You're going to lift your hips up to the ceiling and just hold this position. Bring your hands to your bottom muscles. Make sure that they're actually working here. And it's not uncommon to lift into this position and feel some tenderness across your back. If that's the case, think about pulling your rib cage down to connect it closer towards your hip joint. Once you feel comfortable here, you're going to drop your hips down and lift your hips up to the ceiling. It's slow, it's gentle. There's no right or wrong breathing here as long as you are breathing. I'm going to come up to the screen to take a peek at your form. Go ahead and continue to lift and lower your hips gently at your own pace. Good. Shay, can you walk your feet closer towards your bottom for me? Awesome. Yep. And that goes, if you're feeling a lot of stress or strain in your hamstring muscles, bring your feet a little closer towards your bottom. Awesome, guys. Josh, relax your shoulders a little bit. Melt your shoulders down onto the mat. Good. Very nice. We're going to do 3 more here. And 2 more. Last time, drop your hips down and take a little rest. From here, we're going to go right into a little bit of abdominal strengthening. So our abs support our spine from the other direction, from the front. So let your shoulders, again, relax onto the mat. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, and you're going to hug that knee in gently with your hands. It shouldn't be painful, just a gentle stretch in. And then go ahead and float your left leg off the floor. If this is tender, you can lift your leg up a little higher towards the ceiling. For a challenge, lower it down a little bit closer to the floor. Now, imagine I just put a glass of water on your belly. We're going to go ahead and switch our legs without spilling a drop of that water that's resting on our stomach. So nice and easy, pulling one knee in at a time, exhaling as you press the leg out, and inhaling to bend it back in. You can choose which leg you want to exhale, but definitely important to keep breathing here. Again, for modification, press your legs up a little bit higher towards the ceiling. And for a challenge, pressing your legs down a little bit lower towards the floor. Your shoulders, head, and neck are still resting down on the mat. You're holding your rib cage heavy to balance that imaginary glass of water nice and steady on your stomach. We'll go for 4 and 3, last 2, and 1. Hug both knees in towards your chest and gently rock your body side to side, massaging out your lower spine. From here, go ahead and place your feet down and roll onto your side. So we're going to make a little pillow with your bicep, or this is where you can go ahead and grab a pillow and use a real pillow if that's more comfortable. And bend your knees in close towards your chest. You want to make sure that your knees are bent at least to your hip height. Once you're there, we're going to start to stretch your upper back. So you're going to reach your top arm out in front of you, tap that hand down towards the floor, reaching up and over to the floor behind you. So gently reaching up and around. This exercise is called book openings. You can imagine your arm like you're opening a giant book. Now, if this bothers your shoulder for any reason, you can softly bend the elbow. You can actually even keep your arm on your chest and just rotate the upper half of your body. So I'm going to come up to check everybody's form here because I know this is a funny movement. And again, you're making it gentle within your body's comfortable range of motion. Awesome. These look great. Julian, bend your knees a little closer towards your chest. Good. You guys look awesome here. And maybe each repetition you get a little bit farther into that stretch. Sky, can you tip your camera down a little bit? I can't quite see you there. Good. Awesome, guys. And we'll do just one more time on this side. And from there, we're going to carefully roll onto your stomach. Now, right off the bat, being on our stomach is a full extension position. And when we work from home, or really any of our traditional work days where we spend a lot of time sitting, we spend a lot of time in flexion, the opposite of this posture. So if this doesn't feel good for you, that's okay. We're going to work into that. Go ahead and put a pillow underneath your hips to give yourself a little bit of support for your lower back. We're going to place the hands down directly underneath the shoulders and start pressing up. And you're going to push into your spine's comfortable range of motion. So that might be just your upper back. Maybe you can tolerate pressing all the way up to straighten your arms. If you feel any pinching or soreness in your lower back, separate your feet a little bit wider than the mat, turn your heels together and toes apart. That will give you a little bit more room to work with, and you're just gently pressing up and down. This is a really, really nice stretch that if you only had a minute or so break throughout your day, getting this stretch in is a good thing for your buck. It's the exact opposite posture of what we spend so much time doing in sitting throughout your day. I'm going to check on your form once again, and I'll have you guys just nice and easy work through about 5 more of those at your own pace. Beautiful. Everybody can let their shoulders relax down away from their ears. Think like you're growing tall through the top of your head. Very nice form there, guys. Awesome. And then come all the way back down onto your stomach. I'm going to have you guys roll to your opposite side now. So I'll spin so I can still see you, but we're going to do the book opening stretch on the opposite side. So once again, make a small pillow for your head or bring in a pillow. Bend your knees in nice and close towards your chest. This part is important. This is what makes the stretch for your upper back and not your lower back like we did earlier. Go ahead and reach that top arm out and then start to rotate up and over. So big rotation up and over. You can follow your hand with your eyes. Remember, if it bothers your shoulder, you can always cross your hand across your chest. And just breathe gently. This is a stretch for our upper back, and our upper back attaches to our rib cage. And so just by giving a deep breath here, you can actually get a better stretch by expanding your rib cage. So imagine like you're really filling it up like a balloon. Nice and gentle stretching up and over. We'll do about 3 more on this side. And 2 more. Awesome job here, guys. And 1 more time. Good. And then from here, gently push yourself up to an all-4 position. So just take a moment to get settled in on your mat. If you have knee sensitivity and being down on your knees is not comfortable for you, add the pillow underneath your knees, or if you have a yoga mat, you can fold that up a couple times. If you have any wrist sensitivity, you can do this whole series down on your forearms. So feel free to take either of those modifications. We're going to work through a cat-cow or cat-camel motion now. So we're going to start by rounding the spine, allowing your head to drop down, and then gently opening your spine into a little extension. Your range of motion may be quite different from my range of motion and your neighbor's range of motion. Work within your body's comfortable range. And imagine initiating the movement with your rib cage. So you're drawing your ribs up and in, and then you're dropping your rib cage down. The movement of the ribs helps you to engage some of those deeper core muscles that help stabilize and support our spine with movement. We'll do 2 more times like this. And last time here. Good. So we're going to take this into another core exercise here by coming into a plank. So I will demonstrate the full plank here up on your toes. Again, this can be down on your forearms. This can also be done down on your knees. So I'm going to ask everybody now to find a comfortable plank position. And we're going to work to just hold that for about 10 seconds here. And in your plank position, imagine pumping little bits of air between your vertebrae, getting longer through your spine. Now, whatever plank you're in, we're going to press the hips back and then gently lower the hips forward. I'll demonstrate down on the knees to push back and then shift forward. If you're on your forearms, you push back and shift forward. So we're getting a little stretch through the back of the legs while also working our core muscles here to strengthen our spine in that plank setup. We'll do 2 more like this. And last time here, come all the way down, drop back down into your all 4 setup. Awesome work there, guys. We're going to add a second bit of rotation for the upper back now by doing an exercise called threading the needle. So keep the body weight in your right hand. Open your left arm up to the ceiling. And then we're going to thread the left hand underneath your right arm. It's okay to let your head and shoulder come down onto the mat. And then we open up again. So you picture like you're threading a needle with your left arm through the hole created by your right arm and your chest. We'll do just 3 more. And again, this is an upper back stretch, similar to the book opening we did earlier, which can be really nice to help your upper back soreness and neck soreness as well. We'll try 1 more on this side. Good, and come all the way back down. Now shift your body weight to your left hand, open your right arm up to the ceiling, and rotate your right hand underneath your left arm. Let your head and shoulder come down, and open all the way up to the ceiling. We'll try about 5 more. Nice form there. Good. You guys look excellent. I don't have much to correct here. These look great. We'll do 1 more on this side. Good. Okay, and then come on up to a kneeling position. So I'd like, if you can, to try and sit your bottom on your heels. Now, if you have tight ankles, tight knees, or hips, this might not feel comfortable. This again is where you can pull your pillow and sit down onto your pillow. You can also just sit comfortably down on the floor. So find a position where you are centered. Now, our spines, they really like to move. They don't like to be stuck in one position all day. We've done some movement forward, some movement backwards, and some movement into twisting. The last motion we're going to explore today is side bending, which is going just pure sideways. So we're going to start by reaching your arms wide out to the side, find a big stretch, take up as much room as possible here. Imagine like you've got a big smile across your collarbones. I think we could all use a little extra smiling these days. And we're gonna just gently tap your arms sideways, up and over. You may notice that you have a big difference in range of motion from side to side with this side bending type motion. That's totally normal. We have a dominant side, and so we tend to be a little bit more flexible on that side. Just notice it and gently work to windmill your arms up and over, finding a nice big stretch through the side of your spine. We'll do 2 more here. Good, guys. And last time, awesome. And come all the way back down. Now I'm gonna spin so that you guys can see me for the next piece of this exercise. This is kind of like the bridging exercise we did at the beginning of class to strengthen your glute muscles. So let's have everyone bring your hands back to those glute muscles. All you're gonna do is try and lift up like you're standing up on your knees, and then hinge your hips back, tap your hips to your bottom. Lift on up, get tall, and hinge your hips back, let your nose drift over your knees. Come up tall, press your hips forward, and sit your hips back. The reason we look at this exercise is because this is like a micro range of motion squat. And this teaches you how to be able to bend your body from your hips instead of bending your body from your lower back. So when we think about things that stress our lower back, a lot of times it's bending over, picking things up. This is sort of a small range of motion of how to learn how to bend over using your hip joint instead of using your back. We'll do just 2 more here, coming up nice and tall, and 1 more time, coming up nice and tall. Stay tall on this one. The last piece we'll do here is a stretch for your hip flexors, which is the muscle right in the front of your spine. Again, if kneeling isn't comfortable, add some padding here. You're gonna walk your right knee forward to come into a half kneeling position. With the right knee in front, we're gonna be stretching the left hip flexor. And believe it or not, your hip flexor muscle comes all the way from your knee all the way up, and it attaches to your lower back. So when this muscle is tight, it really influences how our back feels. So we're gonna square off the hips, rotating your left hip forward, right hip back, grow tall through your spine, and slowly hinge forward until you feel a gentle stretch in the front of your left hip. If you're not sure about that stretch, you can engage your left glute muscle to make it a little bit deeper. And you can also reach your left arm up to the ceiling and bend slightly over to the right. If you need to hold on to something here for balance, it's okay to do so, and it may actually help you to relax into this stretch a little bit. So I would recommend holding this stretch on your own time, about 30 to 45 seconds. And allow yourself to breathe here. Again, big deep breath down into your belly. And then we'll press back and switch over to the other side. Now, for those of you who say, you know what, no matter what I pad my knees with, kneeling really isn't comfortable, I'm gonna show you the same stretch. You can just do it in standing. So same thing, square off your hips, pick your chest up nice and tall, start to bend forward this time into your left leg to feel a stretch through your right hip flexor. And once again, it's okay to grab onto something to hold on for balance. You can engage your right glute muscle for a little deeper stretch, reaching your right arm. I'll get down so you guys can see me. Right arm up to the ceiling and side bending over to the left to open up your right side and make that stretch a little bit deeper. So once again, about 30 to 45 seconds here. Comfortable, it shouldn't be a painful stretch, it should be gentle. Awesome. Okay, so I want to spend the last couple of minutes of class showing you guys a little bit about ergonomics, since I know with all of us working from home, we're not using the most ergonomic setups. We may be spending a lot more time on the couch or in our beds than we're used to. So just a couple quick tips here, and I'm going to show you guys my chair. So if you are using a chair or whether it's your couch, I'm going to grab a pillow too so I can show you guys a couple things. You want to be able to find first for your lower half of your body about a 90-degree angle. And so a lot of times our chairs are deep enough so that we can sit really quite slumpy. And to really get our feet on the ground and achieve that 90-degree angle at our hip joint, we need some support behind us. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It may just be a pillow there to give you a little bit of extra oomph to lift up. And that's really it. It's nothing super fancy here. You just want to have that support to keep your spine stacked over your hip joint. Now, when it comes to the upper body, it's a little bit trickier. So I'm going to use my pillow now. Let's say, I think a lot of us are home working on laptops. If you have the luxury of having an external monitor, external keyboard, wireless mouse, use those things. They make your life a lot more flexible and they make it so that your setup can be a lot more ergonomic. But let's say you are using a laptop for your whole day. I would recommend finding things to, maybe it's a lap pillow, maybe it's a little computer stand. Find something that you can put down on your lap to stack your laptop up to about your chest height. If you had the perfect low back setup, but then your laptop is down on your knees, no matter how perfect this back setup is, you're going to spend all day looking down at your screen. So you want to do everything in your power to try and get your screen height up close to your eye height so that no matter what you're looking at, you're looking up and straight ahead in front of you. So once your screen height is up, it then becomes a little tricky because you have to type kind of high. So it's not a perfect setup for your shoulders, and that's where the option of a wireless keyboard or an external monitor can come into play. But if you are using that keyboard, just take breaks. And I think that brings me to sort of the best recommendation I can make for you guys about your work from home setup is that no matter how perfect it is, our spines like to move. They don't like to be in the same position for hours and hours at a time. So if it means setting a little reminder that goes off every, hour, 2 hours to just get up and move, take those breaks. And it doesn't have to be get up and go for a mile-long walk. It can be get up and move for just a minute or 30 seconds. It's just a change of position. It's a reset for your spine, and that makes a huge difference throughout the day. So take a couple of the stretches that you guys learned today. Maybe you do 1 or 2 of those stretches a couple times throughout your day, and I think you'll find that it makes a big impact in how your spine feels for the rest of the afternoon. So with that, I want to leave a couple of minutes here for questions. If you guys, I think because there's a lot of us in class, if you would like to raise your hand, we can call on you. You can also type a question in the chat and I will try and get to those as I see them pop up.
Hello, I have a question, like how important is the breathing here while doing this exercise?
That's a great question. So breathing is super, super important. It's at the foundation of everything we do. When I'm teaching these exercises for the first time, I'm not super picky about whether you breathe in here or breathe out there. As long as you are breathing, it's healthy for your body. I think if you can encourage the breath down lower in your belly or maybe out to the side in your ribs, it's good to help improve the mobility of your back. But in terms of breathing that doesn't make a huge difference, especially for the exercises we did today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
Well, if anyone doesn't have any other questions, David, go ahead.
David, yeah.
Yes, hi. I was wondering, I know it's more back, but do we have any more like special shoulder stretches? Because like my shoulders tend to get really like strained, of course, leaning over, and Is there any like, special ones we could just do for our shoulders quickly, you know, here throughout the day?
Yeah, that's a good question too. So a lot of times when our shoulders are sore for postural reasons, it's because we're spending time like this. And the front of our shoulders are where most of the tendons in our shoulders lie. And so they can get a little bit stressed by being stretched all day long. The two stretches that I showed you guys for your upper back, which was the book opening one, and then the exercise on all fours where you're twisting and threading the needle, those stretches are, you know, formally they're for your upper back, but keeping your upper back flexible makes it much easier to keep your shoulders in a better position. So those can actually help quite a bit with shoulder pain too. A lot of times it's not the shoulder itself so much that's sore, but the fact that your upper back is stiff, so your shoulders are getting the extra stress. So I would start with those. Any other questions, guys? All right.
If we're all good on questions, sorry, go ahead, Allie.
No, I was just going to say thank you all so much for joining. I appreciate you all coming in today, and I hope that your backs feel a little bit better.